Okay, I'll wait patiently. Hey everybody, it's Gloria Jean from Gloria Jean's official I Want Someone to Ride the 9 tour. I hope that everybody is doing well tonight. So we have some comments in here already. We want to thank everybody first and foremost for joining us. Here with JoAnn. JoAnn who? All right. Let's bring her on in. She is one of the most recent nominees for the BCA Hall of Fame, in case no one has heard, which I'm sure people have heard. And JoAnn, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I'm really excited to be with you tonight.
Oh, same here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I mean, we're just going to jump right in. I say that's how we just do it. Let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
All right. So it's not just JoAnn. There are so many people who are excited here. JoAnn has worked extremely hard to get where she is now and back to where she is now. So we're going to talk about a few things. First and foremost, JoAnn, again, congratulations on your current nomination for the BCA Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And with that being said, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts, especially when you first heard? Like, share that part with us. I could imagine it would be emotionally overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling because I'm playing since I'm 4 years old. And I was trained by my dad, Harvey, who was a pro in his own right and a great teacher and coach. And since I was little, I always remember hearing just two very basic things as I was playing and learning and loving the game so much and just excited to play, you know. My dad always said, you win the US Open, it's like a little annuity that will keep paying forever. That's what he used to say to me as a little kid. I remember him saying that. And then he was always like, and that could be a segue into the Hall of Fame. So these were things that were thoughts in my brain, in the back of my brain. But truly, you know, I had a short career because I had my son when I was 26, almost 27. And I really quit at the height of my career to take care of my child. I didn't really want to travel. At that time, the women's tour was huge. We were making good money. We were traveling all over the world. We were going all over Asia and all over the States. And it was a lot. And I was afraid to leave him home alone. And I opted to stay home with him instead. So this is an incredible feeling that I'm nominated. And I'm incredibly humbled. And it got me very emotional the other day just to think about it, you know, that, and to look at those list of names. I know all of these people. I'm huge fans of all of them.
And that's a question I have for you. So you saying that you had to stop, you started playing at 4 years old. When did you start competing? I mean, when I say competing, even in your local tour, when did you start competing at all? When did you feel as though you were good enough to start competing?
So the very first tournament I ever entered was when I was 12 years old. And I played in a qualifier at Gene Belucas's pool room in Bay Ridge Billiards over there in Brooklyn. And I won. And that was a qualifier for the National Amateur 8-Ball Championships. And then a few months later, that main event happened. And I had just turned 13 and I won that. And I was the youngest person by 10 years in that event.
Congratulations. Wow. By a decade in that event. Wow, and that's another thing we wanna send a shout out to New York because JoAnn and I are native New Yorkers.
Yes,
She doesn't carry the accent the way that I do, but yes, native New Yorkers. So that was your first. When did you hit pro status? And then tell me, once you hit pro status, how long you stayed, and then when you actually left and had to. I mean, I know. You know, you started at 4 and this is when the child was born, but give us like just a general idea. And then what inspired the comeback? So talk to me a little bit about playing and then leaving and then coming back.
Yeah, I don't hear you.
Do
you hear me?
Yeah.
Now I hear.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Okay. So I played from 12 to 13 years old. And then, because we were living in New York City at the time.
Right.
And And my parents moved us to upstate New York. And that was right when I was starting ninth grade. And there were no pool tables around. And I took a break for 3.5 years and didn't play pool at all. And in my junior year of high school, my father got a very small pool table that he put in the corner of our basement. And I started to play a little bit again then. And then maybe 6 months later, he got a full-size table and I went to work, you could say. And I turned pro at 17. So right out of high school, I took a job as a waitress just to be able to practice all during the day and then have some time off to be able to play in tournaments. And I really worked very, very hard. I was really fortunate, and one of our customers at the restaurant really took a liking to me, and he owned a block company called 3D Block and gave me a big opportunity and sponsored me on tour that first year, and I just went from there.
Wow. You seem to have you definitely worked hard for it, but you seem to have people. There's some scrolling across the screen. What we're doing is we're putting some of the comments across the screen there. There's Jan Sesh, a person fairly well known by JoAnn and myself. Thank you, Jan, for all you do for the industry as well. So you ended up having to leave.
Yes, I did.
It looks fine.
It seems like I'm taking breaks in this field. I don't know. I'm not doing that again.
Okay. All right. You're back for good. You're back to stay. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I played from 17 until I had my son at almost 26, 27. And then I played only a couple of events that I had an invitation to. I played when my son was 5 years old. I received an invitation to play in a tournament down in Florida. I was still living in New York, and I played down in Florida at the ESPN Zone, and I didn't practice for it. I went there, I played the day I got there, and I ended up coming onto the TV matches on ESPN, and I came tied 5th, 6th, which I was very proud of.
Wow.
And then I didn't play again until 2010. So in 2010, I played for a very short stretch of time because I was invited to play in the US Open. It was my 20th anniversary from when I had won in 1990. And Barry Berman, who was the originator of the US Open, as everybody knows, he invited the women who had won. And so a bunch of us went and played. Belinda came and played, Lori John came and played, Ava came and played, and Gerda came and played, all past US Open winners. And I did, and it was a great time. It was loads of fun. And I played in Florida on the regional tour and won a few events in a row. And then I played in a couple of the men's events down in Florida, and I played against Rob Saez. I ended up coming third to him in one of the men's tournaments after not playing all these years. And then I just said, whatever, I think I will play again, which is really stupid. Well, he's a sweetheart. I love Rob, and I have to tell you, he just messaged me today congratulating me on my nomination.
Yeah.
And I said, that's so much coming from you. And he said to me the same thing back. He goes, that means a lot to me that you feel that way about me.
Oh.
And when I played him, I remember, and it was a good match. And I had a couple of tight matches with him over that period of time. I almost beat him one time. It was really close. I think he beat me 9-7 on real tight diamond table. And I had shot a 9 in a particular way. And after the match, I was so really my opinion of him was always high, but it went even higher. He said, did you ever think about shooting this shot this way? And he was so forthcoming to give me some of his knowledge,
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. So continuing down this road, how long have you been back and playing? When I say playing, I mean, how long have you been back and competing now?
Okay, so back in October, I got a message from Charles Lakey. Everybody knows who he is. He's the inventor.
He's our tour ambassador.
Guy.
Yes.
Okay,
we know.
So he messaged me because he represents and has the distributorship in Sweden for Navigator, Tips, and Chalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a big fan of his for a long time. I always followed him, and he had seen one of my trick shot shows on YouTube and messaged me. And this is just almost embarrassing for me to say, but he wanted my opinion for his show because he said, not for shots, mind you, but for how I handle the audience, because that's my big deal.
Right.
I'm great with the audience, Gloria. You have to come and see a show. You'll understand why.
Did I just get an invitation? Did I just get a VIP seat? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
Did.
Just making sure this is recorded and everyone heard that. All right.
And so he said, I would love to send you some of these products and I'd love your opinion. He says, there's no contract or anything like that, but I'd just love to see what you think. I said, I'm not really playing right now, competing, but if you want to send them, sure. I love him. I think he's so fantastic. And I wasn't going to say no to him. So I said, sure, send it. But then the very next day, Rio in Japan, from Navigator, messaged me, and we ended up cutting a deal to do 3 shows in Japan and get invited to the Japan Open, which was supposed to happen in July. It looks like that's not happening. Darn COVID. But maybe it'll happen in November. But Navigator, Tips and Chalk, they really are very responsible for this whole resurgence for me and inspiring me to play again, because when I heard that I would have an invitation to play in a major event, understand something, Gloria. I love the TV table. That is my jam.
That is my jam.
I love it. It's so fun for me. I went down yesterday to Steinway and I watched Alex Peck-Lyon playing this Dominican guy, really good player, Reyes Gomez.
Yes.
Yeah. And I got to hit balls on that table before anybody showed up. And then I played some guy. I won't say names, but I schooled him a bit and had so much fun just playing lights out and really enjoying myself. It was like you're in the pit there, Yes. And all the sweaters are on the rail. And I was just loving it. I'm like, I'm back. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've been playing in a few tournaments. I played in a couple of tournaments in Florida. And not too bad. Won a couple matches, lost a couple matches, did a bunch of commentary. Love being in the booth. That's tons of fun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. And then up here now, I've just started again. So I'm barnstorming and getting my feet wet again it's a totally different animal, the competition versus the show.
Yes.
It's a whole different vibe. But I'm loving it. I'm just, I'm not going to quit. I could tell you that. And I am not stopping again because I love it too much. And I never loved pool the way I love it now. It's a very unusual feeling.
Probably because you had to take some time off, and it's like any relationship. Sometimes how can I miss you if you never go away type thing, and then to have breaks in it and to have a real passion for what you do, to love what you do so much, and now you've come back. You've had an opportunity with. Can you please tell us who else you're a representative for Navigator, but also for Q's company? Can you?
Yeah. Okay. So Navigator also owns this company called Blue Impact Custom Cues, and my cue has been in the making for the last 7 months, which we've designed. They're also having a short, limited edition custom cue line named after me, which is insane. I haven't played in 25.
Wow! Congratulations on that too. Here we go. More information that no one knows. This is awesome.
Which is ridiculous.
So it's like Peach Hour and Allie. Not that I'm trying to detract from you, but
no, but
is this only the second female that's had a line named after them? I want to look into that. Well.
When I worked for Q-Tech had made thousands of cues with my name on it.
Okay.
So I did have a cue line with them as well, but that is coming next Tuesday. It's getting mailed finally, so that's super exciting.
Yes.
I can't wait to get it. Everyone, I've been showing little bits of it on Facebook, and I'm going to unveil it live on Facebook. I'm not going to see it first, and I'm going to show it to everybody. Everybody's been messaging me, so excited to see this cue because it's a super custom item, and it's very special. Everything is so black and white today, the way they are making the cues, and this is very colorful. It's very different.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm thrilled about it. I can't wait to get it, and I'm excited to play with it. And I just want to also say what inspired me coming back to play. obviously my father tremendously, my dad, Harvey, always has been always trying to inspire me to play again. But I have a few really good friends in Florida. My buddy William Reyes has been so supportive and just an incredible inspiration to try to push me to get better and to get back out there and play. And he's done that straight through the years for me. And my buddy Charlie Vella, who has a gorgeous diamond pool table in his house and the light system that reflects on the table, and he has been standing there caddying for me just to help me. And then my buddy Tom Worth, who is an incredible one-pocket instructor and player and great 9-ball player in his own right, has been training with me at his house. He has a beautiful Brunswick. And just all my students I teach, you know, I didn't mention I teach, but I teach pool, and I've been doing that for a while. And all my students have been giving me so much encouragement and wanting to see me back out there. So, and the fans, I mean, I'm incredibly shocked, really, that there are so many people that remember me from so long ago.
Right.
That's so touching. I'm not kidding you. Like, I know you hear people say this, it sounds so cliche, but it's really the truth. The messages I get from people saying, like, they see my posts now, and I feel like, I'll tell you, Gloria, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about, I do this yoga and I meditate. I also do this.
I was going there. You know that. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll tell you just a little bit. When I got this word about this nomination, I went the next morning and I do this walk run thing, and it's up a very big hill, which of course one of my friends tells me, oh, that doesn't look like a hill at all. It looks totally flat. I'm like, yeah, the way my heart is pounding, trust me, this is not a flat piece of land. This is a hill. And I'm running up the hill, and I'm thinking to myself, as I'm sprinting up this hill, I start like really crying.
Oh.
And I said to myself, I said, this is what my whole career has felt like. Really coming back, stopping, coming back, stopping, coming back. I've really felt like I've been really running uphill to try to accomplish something. And I want to get emotional.
That's okay. It's okay.
But I just feel so humbled and honored and blessed that I'm able to still do it. I'm 53 years old, and I feel thankful that my dad always says, if you have your arms, your legs, and your brain and your eyes, you're going to be good. You can still do it, and you'll be great still, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm in total agreement. We have somebody who's 80 years old in our tour. We're an amateur tour. We have someone who's 80 years old and can run circles around a bunch of people, and you would look at him and not think it, not at all.
Right.
So, but sorry. Yeah. The whole thing is like there are so many people just wanting to throw this out that are like, oh, well, I didn't, get an invitation or wasn't a nominee, or, I was at the age of 25, or I was, whatever the case may be. Everything that you went through got you to where you are now,
Right.
And that whole sprint thing, it's like you said, when you kind of like use it as an analogy to pool itself. So, this
it's
is
what it feels like, Gloria, you play this game, you know how hard it is.
I try.
But people who play the game, I don't care what level you're at, really, because I just gave a lesson today to a wonderful lady who has a pool table in her apartment and loves to play, and she wants to get better. And so she thinks enough of it to pay money to take a lesson to try to improve.
Right.
And I give her huge props, because this game can kick your butt. It's a very hard game, and it's mentally very challenging.
Right. It is, because when we talk about, and I don't want to veer, but hey, they talk about this being a game as opposed to a sport, where there's stamina, there's physics, there's geometry, there's a chess match going on in your head every 5 seconds. Do I play the table? Am I playing the opponent? What's the skill level? What is their best? Are they best at bank? Should I leave them this? What safety should I leave? Should I bury the cue ball? Should I bury the out? It's like, it's a constant battle in your mind. Then your pre-shot routine. Then there's hours upon hours of, making sure you drink. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about. I personally, I try, and we could tell that Gloria did not tonight. I like to meditate before I interview or before I play pool, a game of
Yes.
pool or anything like that.
Right.
Especially a match. I haven't played a real match in a very long time. I need to get my Tony Russell cue and get back into it. I just need to just take my leap and grow my wings on the way down,
That's
you know?
it, you know, and it's so crazy because people will ask after I've only played in a few tournaments, right? And just smaller events, nothing major yet, right? And I haven't won yet.
Mhm.
I've had 4 starts and I haven't won yet. But I will tell you something. I will not quit. I will not quit. That is one thing I can tell you for certain.
Yep.
I like the challenge and I'm going to keep going. And however long it takes me to break through again, it'll take me.
Right.
But I'm at it. I'm at it. So
Yep.
everybody better take notice because I'm coming for you.
Yeah, yeah, and we were just discussing the fact that there are about 10 women between the years of 68 and 2019.
Wow, only 10. That's amazing.
That's
You know how many
about
amazing
10
women
yes.
players there are out there?
Yes,
That
yes,
we have
right.
years?
So this is something. This is not to be taken lightly, and that's why JoAnn was so emotional. This is amazing. I wanted to ask you: do you have any tips? Being that you do like to teach and you do like to help out so much, do you have any tips? Mine would personally be to make sure that you get enough sleep, you get enough water in you, that you eat something balanced. Prior to your match.
Those are all
And
great.
I
Obviously.
love to meditate. I'm Zen. I'm with my Yam, Lam, Ram chakras open and everything up, beforehand. What would you suggest?
Right. Okay.
Anything
So
at all.
look, when I teach, I really assess the person and I really like to see what their personality is. Everybody's different. When I was younger, I definitely played a very quick tempo type of a game.
More of a rhythm player. Yeah.
Right, a rhythm player, 100% a rhythm player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play quite as fast as I used to, but I would still consider myself a quick tempo player.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel that it's important to breathe. We forget to breathe, and that's in life in general. When we're going through anything difficult, we forget to breathe. It's so important to get that oxygen in your system because it makes you think better. Your brain works better when it has oxygen.
Yeah, and when you get nervous or tense, excited, and we've seen it happen. I'm not going to mention who, but there was a 9-ball where it was hill on the 9, straight dead in 9-ball, straight as this pen, and the muscle memory's obviously there, but if the mind's not matching up,
right.
It's just not working. The mind-body connection is one of the most amazing things.
I think the biggest thing is to continually learn from what's gone right and what's gone wrong. Right. I think it's exceptionally important not to beat yourself up. Years ago, when I was on tour, when I was young, I had a big problem with that. And I'll be honest and tell everybody that right now. I, at times, could be my own worst enemy. And I'm letting myself be vulnerable by telling people that now. I don't do that anymore. I've learned the error of my ways. I remember one time I played against Gerda. I had come 3rd in a big tournament out in Phoenix, and I lost my match to her to get knocked out. And I went up to my room and I called my dad, and I was so distraught and I was crying. And my father said, "What is going on with you? You need to calm down." And I said, "I'm going to jump off the frickin' terrace. I can't stand it. I feel so awful. I lost." He goes, "JoAnn, what floor are you on?" I'm like, "I'm on the 2nd floor." And he's like, "All right, that's okay. At least you'll be all right." He goes, "But you probably break your leg and that'll be a big problem too. So probably don't do that." So I don't threaten that anymore.
No.
Like I was annoyed the other day. The biggest thing I do now is I take my glove off and I throw it at my bag.
Yeah. I
don't like losing. I don't like losing, and I don't think too many people do. So
We are so competitive. I mean, men are competitive too, but women, I feel, um, they don't really show it, but we're so solidified, we're so supportive of each other, right? But when it comes to it, you're in the middle of a pool match and you're shaking Allie's hand or Kelly's hand or whomever's hand, and it's like, right, you're my friend, but now you're my obstacle,
Yes, exactly.
and right now you're my obstacle.
I'll tell you something, it's interesting, especially in this field, in the billiards world, and at least when I played back in the day, there's only a certain amount of money out there for everybody, okay? Right. And everybody wants their little piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a sport like golf or tennis where they have a lot more available to them.
Which I don't understand, but that's another story and another
right?
discussion. Yes.
But everybody, they're all looking for the same thing. So it has to create a situation of, I want to get that. I want that sponsor. When I worked for Overrun Bucket Popcorn and did that 5-city tour back in the day, I was up against, there were 3 people left that they were deciding on. It was Steve Mizrak, Ava, and myself. They threw Steve out of the mix. He had just done the Miller Lite commercials, and they decided they wanted a woman. And they went to each of our hometowns, and they came and they interviewed us. I really was in shock that I got it because Ava is so beautiful and so talented, and I was always a huge fan of hers, and I always thought I could never beat her out in something like that. She's tall and gorgeous. She looks like a Swedish model, for crying out loud. I'm 5'4". I mean, I'm all right, but I always looked at her like she was the one, and
I'm sure she's flattered, by the way.
They came and they interviewed us, and for whatever reason, they went with me. So maybe because I told them how much I love popcorn, which was true. True.
I'm a chip girl, but that's okay. Okay. I'm not giving any more props to the chip world either, because I would give so many I used to show the can, but if I'm not getting sponsored, you're not getting on here.
There you go. That's right. You hold the ground.
So someone had mentioned that Allie, Kelly and Jeanette. Nate had mentioned that Kelly and Jeanette also have a line. But were you were you the very first that had their name, or that you can recall? Or?
I don't think so. I think it was Lori John. I think Lori John was
Mucci.
Yep.
Mucci.
I think. Yeah, I believe so. Lori John's 2 years older than me, and she was always like big sister to me out on the tour. Very, very close with Lori John to this day. We're very good friends. We speak very frequently. And she was with Gandhi in the beginning, yes, and then she was with Mucci shortly thereafter, and she's still with Mucci. They have a wonderful relationship, and I am sure they've had her name on cues straight through the years. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's really awesome.
And also, so she was with Gandhi, but I was with Olhausen, and they named the championship series table after me. It was the JoAnn Mason Parker table.
Oh, see, now that's something that I honestly was unaware of.
Yeah, I had a pool table named after me and cue line after me, and I also made my own instructional video that I owned. And at that time, that wasn't done. The players were just paid like a fee to show up, make a video, and then the promoters took everything. And I didn't do that. I made it on my own. I put my own money up. I made that video with my dad, and I had an idea. That was VHS time, okay? I was 25 years old when we made that practice instructional video. And I sold commercial space on it to pay for the making of the video. And we were in the plus before one video was sold. So that was a really big, as far as being an entrepreneur in the sport as a woman. I was invited to Japan with the girls 2 different times. Then I was brought back on my own a 3rd time to do a TV show called This Year's World Miracle Performers in Tokyo. and that was great fun. I mean, I've done in a short, it's funny when you look back on your career, even though it was a short span of time, and I look at all the things I've done. Allison and I introduced American pool to the Chinese audience. I was actually 3 weeks pregnant with my son when we played those challenge matches. And I love Allison. And I am the only American she has yet to beat because I won both days against her. And they did timed matches. It wasn't, they stopped the Winter Olympics to show our matches. It was Earl Strickland, Mike Massey, Allison, myself, we were the only men, and then 2 other gentlemen from 2 different countries. And so there were 6 of us. And it was an incredible experience. We were watched by a live audience. It was millions and millions of people that watched us because look, China's communist country, they do what they want. They had 2 stations, one for sports and one for news. They controlled it. And we became super celebrities overnight there.
Instant.
And when I went in, this is funny, Gloria, when I went and checked in to go home on the plane, the girl recognized me and she bumped me right up to first class.
Really?
Yep. True story.
So
True story.
you didn't just get peanuts then. You got a little more, right?
No. It was an amazing experience. I mean, I think about these things that I've had the opportunity to do because of this incredible game that I loved to play. And I've been around the world and back again and seen so many places and learned about so many cultures and met so many incredible, interesting people.
Yeah.
Just remarkable. I'm just honored by it.
I don't mean to be too private, but could you give me a list of so titles that you have? I put a couple up. And then some of your most memorable tournaments, some that you or matches, challenges, anything at all. Like just give us some things that really make you remember the sport and those things.
Okay. All right. So
got you right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you. I played. Obviously, the U.S. Open is the biggest, honor in my career and the most valuable tournament that I won. But I also won the McDermott Masters World Open in '88, and I won the National Amateur 8-Ball Championships that we spoke about, amongst many other state championships and so on, many. But I remember one particular match that I played against Vivian Villarreal in it was in Detroit. And she had me stuck in a race to 9. She had me stuck 8-4, and I ran out the set on her.
I thought it was 8-3 because I do remember I did a little research on you, of course, a little bit more than because I have to get into the questions and the nitty gritty of things. So it was 8-4, not 8-3. I don't know where I saw that, but
8-4, yeah, because it was 5 straight. Racks.
Right.
5 straight racks.
Yeah.
That was a huge highlight for me that I look back on. And now you can't do that anymore because it's lose or break. It's alternating break. So you don't have the opportunity to keep the opponent in the chair the way that you could back then. But that for me was a very big highlight as far as winning. But I will say this, I have a couple of really great highlights from practice rooms at the U.S. Open because the years that we played at the same time as the men, I played warming up for a match against Buddy Hall. And I exaggerate not, I promise you. I probably beat him 10 straight racks, and he was such a doll about it. I love Buddy. He's so awesome. And he looked at Dave Bowman, who was sitting off to the side waiting to practice a little. He goes, and I'll try to imitate him. He goes, "Oh, Dave, why don't you try to have some way with JoAnn here because she's taking good care of me."
I think that everybody should go. I think that you should go look up. If you don't know JoAnn, look her up. Go to YouTube. I'm sure they have these videos. You could see her smashing out some amazing racks. I really don't know what to say. Is that I'm actually humbled that you came on here. Thank you so much for being a part of, you know, the Fire Pit Chat here at I Want Simona's Ride the 9 tour. I want people to go look you up. I want them to see, because I want them to know that there's a great association. You know, there are these amazing female players, the ones that you mentioned, the one that are in the Hall of Fame. But there are
incredible players.
Yeah, yeah. But there's
so
JoAnn.
talented.
There's JoAnn too. So look her up. Look her up. Look her up. Maybe she can, if you check her out on her Facebook page. Maybe JoAnn, you could put some YouTube videos up there, which I probably should have snagged from you beforehand and put them down in the right hand corner for people to click on. So whoever gets JoAnn next and does an interview with her, that's a great idea. Just put those in the right hand corner for people to click away on during the match. Feel free to send them my way. I'll put them up for you. You know.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. People could right on my Facebook. If they go, I have my videos posted as public. So if they want to go on, they can go to my Facebook page, JoAnn Mason Parker, not my public figure page, but my personal. It's kind of transferred over to be a fan page, because most of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook are pool fans, and they're pool players. But I have a lot of videos up now that I've put up in these last few months of my practice, and just inspirational videos to try to inspire other people to do their thing, you know, whatever it is.
Right. And who says that a woman in a dress can't play pool?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Well, we won't mention names, but again, it was, I think, just to try to spark me to
there you go. Okay.
Somebody was trying to call me here.
Yeah, I saw that. It said it just showed the name for a brief few seconds.
Yeah, my dad were trying to call me. I'll have to call them. I'll have to call them back.
Yeah. So I saw that and
yeah, no, my buddy William Reyes made a joke that you can't play pool in a dress, and I posted that video because I had been out to dinner with my husband and we went to a beautiful restaurant. We were on vacation and we were having a really nice night, and I just got inspired and I said I'm going, because it was at my sister's house up in New Hampshire, and she has a beautiful pool room that she built special for me in 2010 when I was going to come back and play in the US Open again. And I told her I can't spend the summer in New Hampshire if I have no place to practice. She said, you find the table, I'll build the room. And she did.
Really?
And so the video, so that video.
Wait, so you find the table and I'll find the room.
And she build
the room. Excuse me.
Yep.
Okay. Was it in Alhausen?
No, it's a Brunswick, actually.
Okay.
It's a Brunswick, and she built that room, and that's a gorgeous room, and the table plays beautifully. And I went in there that night, that's just a couple of weeks ago, and I just I was hitting him so good. I was feeling great.
Yeah, I could imagine. I was really when I saw your name, I was like, I was just completely thrown back, because I remember watching you in your walk one day when you were down in Florida, and you were in like a it's like a gazebo type water, earthy.
It's a bird sanctuary. That's a bird sanctuary. It's right up the block from where I live.
Right.
It's a beautiful, beautiful nature preserve bird sanctuary, and there are all these little places to stop and sit and listen to the birds and look at them. There's so much wildlife there. And I like to go there sometimes. I bring my yoga mat, as you saw.
Yes.
And I'll go, and before practice, before a big day, I would go in there and I would do my thing, and I'd relax and take it easy, calm down a minute, because I could get a little hepped up. And then after that, then what? Then I'll put on my Lady Gaga and go crazy.
I think that Gerda actually might meditate before her matches as well.
She's a yoga instructor. She's also a yoga instructor.
That's why. She's Aquarius.
Yeah.
I'm Aquarius too. What sign are you, by the way?
She's awesome. What?
What sign are you?
What?
Astrological sign.
Oh,
Totally off topic. Scorpio, like LJ. So she's that shows the intensity. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a question out there, if you don't mind answering. It says, "Who is the best player you think in history? Your Mount Rushmore." And then I have.
Who was the best woman player you think in history?
Yeah.
Your Mount. Oh, it's a tough question. That's a tough question. You know, I'll tell you this. I think that we very often think very currently about who's current at the moment because that's what's freshest in our brains, right?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up truly
Jean.
loving Jean.
I knew you were going to say that. Yep.
Yeah. But I had heard so much about Ruth McGinnis.
Right.
And I always was thinking, geez, she sounded like she was playing with the men, and that was like such a big deal then. And then when I saw Jean when I was a young girl, because Jean's 10 years older than me, and I saw Jean actually compete against some of the men and actually have some success.
Right.
It was like a breaking of the glass ceiling where I felt, wait a minute, maybe women can compete with the men on a high level. You know, but as a child, as a young person,
yeah,
you're not really sure. But my father had always made me feel as if you could be as good as anybody. He never put limitations.
Right. Right.
He never
that's so important. Yeah, that's so important. I have to say that my father was very influential in my life too. He gave me some really great advice. He said, if you want to be a successful businesswoman, then follow the successful people, stay around them. He said, birds of a feather flock together. If you want to be great at yoga, pick yoga, be the best that you can be at it, be the best in the world at it, you know. So my father was very inspirational in my life too. And he, no matter what success it was, if it was a small success, it didn't make a difference. Progress is progress no matter what speed. And that's like my father's thing. So our fathers sound very, very similar.
Yeah, I love that. My father, I'll tell you just a quick little story if we have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
My dad, when he was training me, he was all about improvement, continual improvement. So much so that at times I used to feel like, can I just sit on this win for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
And just soak it up and enjoy it. And he would be like, yeah, definitely. You'll soak it up and enjoy it. And let's talk about the weak links. He said everything, he goes, so much was great. He goes, but how are we going to get better? How are you going to improve on it?
Right.
You know, you can't rest on your laurels because somebody else is always going to be biting at your heels and looking to do better than you.
Absolutely.
And he was always about that. And coming back now, I said to him after a very bad practice session, and that I was so disappointed in myself. And I felt like my mind was just so out to lunch. And I said, I just feel this terrible sense of urgency that I'm running out of time. I'm going to cry again. This is crazy.
Wow.
And he said,
that's really deep there. Yeah.
Yeah. He said to me, he goes, Jo, and he looks me dead in the eye. He goes, Jo, I am so insanely proud of you. He said, you are not in any sense of, you have no sense of urgency. What you are doing right now is so fantastic. He said, just play. He said, remember why you started playing to begin with when you were a little girl. He said, that's what I want you to think about. He said, forget all this winning and losing BS. He said, just go and play. It's a game. Yeah. Just play and enjoy it. And I tell my students this now, you know, the stroke is so good and you just love the feel of it in your fingers and the sound of the balls and the smell of the room and the sound that the balls make, and just get enjoyment out of that. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And that, when I get a little nervous now in my matches, that's what I'm starting to tell myself. That's my go-to move in my brain now. I'm like, don't be nervous. This is too much fun. Don't be nervous. Just play and enjoy it. Just don't get caught up in the winning and losing.
You know what's funny is I listen to Steve Harvey a lot. I know y'all gonna make fun of me between that and my Where's Waldo shirt and my Farrah Fawcett hairdo, but that's okay. And Steve always talks about when you're
love Farrah.
Thank you. Steve talks about uh, when you're grateful in life, when you're grateful about the things in life that you have, God gives you more to be grateful for. And I think that gratitude is just so important in life. And it's
That's
funny because
amazing.
I'm learning that now at an older age. Before I was very different. And then I kind of went through phases in my life. I'll just say that. But now I think about it and I'm like, wow, like that's just some great thought. And then he always says, when you have like, I have to go to the store, I have to do this, I have this, or you think about the have tos, or I got to, instead say I get to, because it's a privilege that you've been given, so that's like my go-to thing now. And last but not least is, this gets me a little bit, this is like emotional time. The guys are gonna be like, oh God. But if it's not important enough to talk about the last hour of your life, don't make it a priority now.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think that you and I kind of have like the same wavelength when it comes to like the like I was talking about the mind-body connection, the thoughts in that way.
I feel that too. When I spoke to you, just a little bit of texting, like a little while back, I felt that from you. When you reached out to me because you had seen the yoga video and all of that, and I felt that, and it was so.
That's probably Dad.
I know. My gosh! Oh my gosh! They're looking for me. Looking for me.
He's proud.
He is. But I don't think they realized what time I was doing this tonight.
That's okay. That's okay. The fact that we had that kind of, spiritual connection and thought process of like being grounded in nature, because I'm just a naturally, I don't want to speak for you, I'm just a naturally kind of hyper person. My friend's making fun of me over here. Naturally kind of hyper person. What is that?
I think for me, my mood kind of does like this. It fluctuates. It depends.
Yes, and I need my solitude as well. I need a complete alone time. When I feel drained, I just want to be in my meditation room. I'm going to send you a personal video, if you don't mind, of my meditation room with the lights on tonight. Okay, it's cool, totally cool. Funky and cool as heck. Nice. You're gonna love it.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to start to wind down, but before I go, and I do not want to forget this, I have it written right here in like this pen over and over 12 times. I would love, if you ever want to have a match done, I would be honored, completely honored. Wow, I see the sun on my face there. I would be completely honored to have a match between you and whomever you choose, if you both agree. I would love to stream that.
Okay, all right. So we have to talk about that. That could be fun.
Yes, I am offering first and foremost right here, right now. I want to do that, because I know you're gonna get 100,000 other offers. But female thing, okay, everybody. So female thing. All
right.
Yeah. And we have Charles Lakey here in common. Okay, so I'm batting 1,000 right now. And the ohms going on. So if you ever want to, I would love if you meet up someplace, if you're going to be playing someplace, or anytime at all. I would love to have it. I mean, you and Allie might have some unfinished business. I'm just throwing this out there.
Well, I've been sitting on that win for quite some time now.
You have been. I mean, this will be a little bit different.
26 years. What's funny? I have often thought about doing something really fun where, because I play opposite-handed as well. I actually have a high run of 28 opposite-handed.
Wow.
Because when I was a little girl, you grow into the table. My dad would always just say to me, if you can't reach a shot righty and you can reach it lefty, shoot it lefty. If you can't reach it with either hand, then you use a bridge. So I developed to be a pretty good player opposite-handed. And I thought it would be fun sometime to have a match that you actually had to shoot every other shot and go back and forth between your right and your left.
Oh, wow. That's a great exercise.
Well, I do that sometimes. And sometimes when I'll play my students, I'll just play them opposite handed to make it more. And sometimes then I have to still just only make 3 balls and then stop.
Right, right.
With 8 ball especially. But I think that would be really a fun thing to do. I think that would really show a lot of skill and talent, and you look like Efren Reyes. He plays incredible run out pool with his opposite hand.
Yes, he does.
The players that play jam up with their opposite hand. So I think that could be like a really fun, interesting thing for the audience. Just something different,
I watched you run out a lot, kind of like a 14-1, but you basically just, shoot what's on the table, you break and you shoot what's on the table. I'm willing to go virtually. You and I go virtually, and I would like everyone to see me get crushed by JoAnn. And you guys go ahead and you make your little wager. Not a money wager, but maybe JoAnn might sign a Ride the 9 Tour patch or something, and we can send it to you. I don't know. JoAnn, I'm just coming up with things right off the top of the head here, right off the cuff.
So I will tell you though, those racks are basically done for practicing rhythm and timing and speed of play. And I find it really beneficial to do that. But I'm actually doing some other things within those videos that you might not necessarily know. When I throw out all 15 balls, a lot of times what I like to do is shoot the first stripes off as though you're playing 8 ball.
I saw that once, yeah.
Except for the 9 ball, and then play position off your last stripe for the 1 ball, and then play 9 ball from there. So that's I would give that as a tip to people all the time. That's such a nice, fun, really good, challenging drill to do where, you don't get as bored, and it's just like something fun to do. And I like it. It's a very good one.
Could you share that on your Facebook page? Like
I did share that. I mean, I'll do it again, because it's
well,
nice
now that we just talked about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can reshare that one. But also, when I'll shoot all the balls off, sometimes I'll play where you can't hit a rail and you have to make all the balls without hitting a rail. So that's another good one. You have to run all the balls, don't hit another ball, just all these little things, Sometimes you have to have where you hit a rail, at least just 1 rail, and play position where you have to hit 1 rail only and run all 15 balls.
So these are no floating at all. You have to hit a rail.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Different ways to throw those balls out, all 15 balls, and challenge yourself, right?
Yeah. So that's what it's really all about. Yeah, going back to what you were saying before, you were talking about, practice, because your opponent may have this on you or that on you. And there are so many people out there who continuously practice what they're really good at, and that's because they like the feel of, I'm good at this, or the win, against even themselves, or like, look what I can do. But that really is so detrimental to you, because now you're leaving what you're not good at, and that's really, what you're not good at, just right there.
Right.
And you're vulnerable to your opponent, completely vulnerable to your opponent at this point. They find that weakness, and that they're gonna capitalize on that any chance they get.
I say it all the time. You need to do what's uncomfortable. So if it's uncomfortable for you as a player, let's say, to go into a room and take the front table and practice there in front of a lot of people, that's where you need to be.
Right.
If it's uncomfortable for you to go into a room and ask someone to play and have a match and make yourself vulnerable because you're uncomfortable, you need to do it. You need to stretch yourself. If you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to put yourself out there to lose or not to do well, you'll never do any better. It's just the way it is, you'll just stay. And I'm a big proponent of this. I'm all about trying to get better and trying to do whatever you do the best you can as possible. Right. Don't stand for being mediocre. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be a world champion, but you're going to attempt to be your best.
Right.
So if you're making that attempt, you're not mediocre anymore, because you're really working at it. Okay, everyone's talent is different.
Yes.
But But I will tell you this, Gloria, I'm playing pool since I'm 4 years old. I'm very blessed that I was very lucky that I just had a very good natural ability for this sport. But if I didn't have a work ethic, I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have done anything because
Discipline.
you need both. You need both. You need a work ethic. You need discipline. You need focus. You need to have heart. You can't be afraid. You have to look that fear in the eye. You have to not be afraid when the adrenaline runs through your body and you're feeling it literally down to your toes. My toes used to go numb on me. I used to be so scared.
Wow.
Scared, petrified. And I would just be like this. Bring it.
It's so funny because, people say to me when I get very serious in pool, because I'm a lower class player and I go play with the A's, because that's what I'll try and do is I've done in the past. I'll go straight to, you can qualify here, 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 and I go straight to the highest part of it because I want that. Like I want to know that I can at least hold it. And when you play with the better players, you start to, like my father told me, you start to mimic. Like you start to see what they do. You want to mimic what they do. And you're learning. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. The greatest players in the world, the better the player they'll play against, the more their own game will rise. That's the sign.
Yeah.
That is really the sign of a true champion. If your game rises under the heat of the moment, then you know you've got something.
Yep. And you know what? I'm going to say thank you for that, because going back and thinking, I gave up. I had to forfeit due to a specific reason, my match, and I was up 2-0. And he said, "Please don't forfeit. You're shooting so well." And I said, "I need to, because it's my own reason, but I needed to forfeit." But I remember playing safes, and I had him on 3 times in one game, and I went, wow. I went home, and that was the accomplishment itself. Do you know what I mean? That was the accomplishment itself. So to the people out there who say, "Oh, I didn't win, or I didn't do," think about what you've done in the game. Like, give yourself praise, because it's so often you're your own worst critic, you're saying, right? It's so
100%.
often that we look at ourselves and we go, "Oh my God, I could have done this better. I could have done that better." Now we understand that. Take it, watch it, make it better, okay? But also look at what you've done.
You need to be kind. You need to have good self-talk.
Yes.
I say that all the time. You need good self-talk.
Yes.
Look, I had a match the other day. I lost, in the last 2 tournaments, I've lost 4 hill matches. You would have thought I would have at least gotten lucky and won one of them, and yet I haven't. And I was so angry and upset about it. But then I got the nomination for the Hall of Fame, and that just flew right out of my head.
Right, exactly.
And perspective, and I said to myself, JoAnn, you will do better. Just calm down. Take it easy. Don't beat yourself up so much.
Right. Yeah, there's a saying, be mindful of your self-talk. It's a conversation with the universe. That's really true.
If you're not going to be nice to yourself, who's going to be nice to you?
Yes, speak to yourself the way you would your best friend.
Yes, exactly.
So all right. So we're winding down here. 7:37. There were a couple of questions. I'm going to go over if that's okay with you.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. We'll be starting shortly. So hi to everyone who's joined. I don't know. Here is it. So Nate had tagged you in something. I think he was saying something about not knowing for. Oh, someone's playing with my mouse. No, don't play with my mouse. I'm playing with my mouse. Is there going to be any comment? Okay. All right, I got this. See, I can use this thing. Glad you're back and playing. So Jan Sesh, Hall of Fame. Oh, she gave you the heart eyes. We love Jan. Tony Russell, my personal sponsor, Q sponsor, says congratulations to you. Jan, she is my friend. I love her. Okay, I was going to go. You won on our Florida tour, so she wants to remind you that you've done that. Rob's a great player. Okay, so I'm going to invite you back. All right, I want to invite you back, and maybe this time it won't be all talk. Maybe we could have some interaction. I hear that you like trick shots a lot. So you have an open invitation to come back should you want to, and I would love to see some of that.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Have a great one. Be safe.
Thank you so much.
You're
You
welcome.
too.
So long.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Fire Pit, where we bring billiards to your door. Please join us again soon.